Christmas. And I hope y'all enjoyed that rare win against the Maple Leafs at home. Otter did his part, had his best performance of the year. Dallas wins 4 in a row to get a little bit of central breathing room finally. Follow me on TikTok, subscribe here, and let's get into it. So the Stars win their first game against the Maple Leafs at home since 2017 with this 5-1 victory. The Stars end up getting 5 goals from 5 different players. So for 2 games in a row, we've really run up the score, but spread it out pretty evenly across the lineup. Robo continues to shine. He had the game-winning goal early on at 1:30 in the first. They never would come back from that. And Robo now has 22 goals on the year, tied for third in NHL scoring. Jamie Benn continues to do great things. He had 1 goal, 1 assist on the night. He's got the same amount of points as Sam Steele in less than half of the games. So I'll tell you what, Jamie Benn is not done. He is not done at all. And man, would it be nice to see him raise a cup. So Lindell had 2 assists. He now has 5 assists in his last 3 games played. So enjoy it while it lasts because Cale Makar in a round is not what Esa Lindell typically does, but it's great to see him chipping in on the offensive side of things. Mikko continues to get assist after assist. He had 1 assist more tonight, on pace for the single season assist record held by Broughton. Maverick Bork has been looking a little better, and he ended up having an empty net goal and a goal that was called back barely by an offside call. And Dallas's special teams didn't exactly do so great on the power play. We went 0 for 3, but we also went 4 for 4 on the kill. And what ended up doing in Toronto was turnovers. They had 15 more turnovers than we did, 14 more giveaways. But all that said, and 5-1 aside, this was a much closer game than you would have liked it to have been. The Stars ended up only up 1 goal or less for about 48 minutes of this game. And so we ended up running up the score at the very end, but that doesn't tell the full story of it. And we were outshot again, outshot 28-22, which is just a recurring theme for these Stars. And I just can't for the life of me figure out what it is that, and I do think that this is a problem. I really do. And when you look at, say, Winnipeg last year, when they were dominating and they were 15-1 to start the year, they were absolutely dominating possession and shots on goal, peppering the opposition. And I would like to see, for this team to take that next step and to be a team that really looks invincible, I want to see us with the lead in shots on goal by 20% or more each game. There should be games where we are doubling up our opposition in shots on goal if we're winning with the percentage that we are. Especially when right now our goalies are putting up really good numbers, possibly unsustainable numbers. We need to get the shot share taken care of. Dallas also got hit 24-11, and that is still a little bit not as concerning as the shot share, but it is concerning to me. And even with, say, Liam Bichel back, add another 5 hits to that, it would still be 24-16. The other thing, are you guys worried that we just invested $85 million in Thomas Harley? Because I am. I'm a little concerned. I worry that we bought his stock as high as it's ever going to be after the playoffs last year, where he played fantastic in both ends of the ice and looked like a potential second number one defenseman for us. And I know he's had some injury issues, but defense has never been his shining element. And this year, and you can say, oh, he had injuries, but that doesn't necessarily account for all of the boneheaded turnovers that we see night in, night out. And I'm telling you, whenever there's a goal against, it seems like he's on the ice here recently. And those all of those series of saves that Otter made, which was beautiful at the end of the second period, didn't need to happen. It happened because Harley made a horrible pass in the defensive zone, and Otter had to clean up his mess. And I am worried about Thomas Harley to the point where I was looking up his no movement clause. And anyway, I'm still uncertain, and maybe somebody can address it in the comments. I think that there may be some kind of no movement clause that comes into effect next season. If not, there is something that I saw that comes into play like maybe 3 seasons down as far as his no movement clause is concerned. I, in my eyes, I would love to trade him for a right hand defenseman who's a defensive stalwart type of defenseman. Not necessarily a stay at home, but somebody who's like really steady Eddie. Somebody like an Adam Fox or a Charlie McAvoy would be my dream. It's kind of hard for me to see that happening between those two, just because both of those, at least right now, both the Rangers and the Boston Bruins are right on, like, within 1 point of the wild card, so I don't think that they would be sellers like that. But who knows? Maybe that for somebody like Harley, somebody might bite on it. I don't know, but it's run through my mind, and I would love to even out the right defense by trading a stud for stud defenseman deal. And I think the sooner you do something like that, the better, because if this continues, this streak of just defensive mind lapses, it's going to be harder and harder to move this guy. I mean, right now he's looking like Matt Dumba of last year. Lundqvist also had some bad turnovers. And, if we're looking to optimize this team for the playoffs, that might be another piece that you could move for somebody who's a little bigger on the right side as well. Maybe a depth righty. So, anyway, Jamie, let's go ahead and get through the game and how it played out. Jamie Benn had a great chance early, kick save by Hildeby. Ben had a nice pass to Ritzy for a scoring chance. There were no stoppages early for 5-6 minutes, something like that. And Dallas is controlling the play early. But, and this is the asterisk, lots of pressure through 7 minutes, but only 2 shots on goal, even though we're dominating the possession. And this is where something is amiss. Something's a little bit amiss. And I don't know. I don't know what it is. Again, in the comments, if you have any ideas as to why our shot totals aren't better than what they are, let me know. So Harley gets puck jacked by Matthews trying to exit the Dallas zone. Harley again, and Matthews ends up getting a breakaway. Dekes to the backhand, and Otter with the glovely save to keep this at 0-0. Heiskanen gets a delay of game penalty late in the first, a bad one. Toronto has the worst power play in the league, luckily for us. So, and they're going against maybe the hottest penalty kill in the league right now. Esa Lindell with the lay down block in the on the PK in front of the net. And then Dallas would end up getting the goal to go 1-0 nothing on them. Robertson got it. So right after the penalty kill with about 1:30 left, Oscar Beck gets to a loose puck and shovels a backhand dump pass out of the D zone. Robo forces his way past McCabe with sort of a nasty looking, almost elbowy looking forearm to the face. Gets loose behind the D at the edge of the right circle, pulls it from backhand to forehand and scores far side after it rattled over the goalie's equipment. And right between the arm and the belly, as Robertson was curling to the net, with McCabe cross-checking him in tow. So great effort by Robertson on that one. One more stop for Otter at the buzzer, and shots on goal very low, 6-4 Toronto after one. In the second period, the Toronto Maple Leafs end up tripping the Moose, and there's a power play for the Stars. Robo takes another ozone penalty for hooking at the end of the power play. He's been racking up the PIMs here lately, especially in the ozone. And Dallas has most of a power play to kill, but Foxa with more PK wizardry with the poke check and zone clear. Then the Messiah with a turnover. Steele with a defensive zone poke check on Nylander a little later. And then Lundqvist turns it over in the defensive zone. Otter, recurring theme, bails him out by stopping a Tavares shot and getting the stoppage. Maverick Bourque ended up having his goal at the net front. It was actually a pretty nice goal for him in the near the paint there, but it was overturned by a Hintz skate that was just by maybe an inch out of the offside. So tough break for Maverick on that one, and then Hintz and Bourque were stopped shortly after, point blank by Hildeby. Nylander had a breakaway, stopped by Otter, just Otter working his magic. I think he had something like a .964 on the night, just studly work by him. Tavares takes a tripping in the offensive zone on Robo. There was great work in the D zone after the kill, so they killed the power play, and then Heiskanen did great work to break up a play, and then Wyatt with the dive to block a shot. Lyubushkin takes an interference on a dangerous play, beginning to develop, probably a penalty that he needed to take. We killed it, and then after that, Lyubushkin with an aggressive hit in the corner. I've really liked what I've seen from Lyubushkin all year round. He's just been taking his play up a level. Last year, especially during the regular season, he did not look like this. He got better in the playoffs, and I think he's been even better this year. Harley takes a penalty for high sticking, the fourth power play of for Toronto in the period, and we end up getting through it. Then we get a power play. Ritzy's on the power play 1 unit, which is great to see. I like that they're rewarding him for some of the effort that he's put in. Otter with a great kick save and tied on a chaotic play after a shot bounced around in traffic in front of the net. And another blocker save on the PK. We get the kill. And then Harley with that turnover pass deep in our zone and ends up having to make a series of saves. So the first one was on Stetcher, who shoots from the circle after the turnover pass. And then it was a pad stop with the left pad by Otter. And then right after this, he's still down on the ground from the original shot. He makes a sprawling right leg save on the rebound from Michelli, who brought it from backhand to forehand to make the shot, and then another two stops while still laid down after several more whacks by Michelli on the second rebound. And then he made one more stop at the buzzer from the far wall deep by Stetcher again without his stick this time. So just absolutely dazzling work by Otter. In my eyes, this was his best game of the year. So Stars lopsidedly outshot after two periods. What is going on, right? What is going on here? Turnover by Lundqvist in the third period to start the third. So a lot of turnovers by those two, by Lundqvist and Harley. The shots are 22 by 10 Toronto early in the second. And that's just not the recipe for long-term success. So then we would end up getting a goal, defying the hockey math. Sam Steele, great effort to fight through traffic. Gets well, not Sam Steele. It was Mikko that had a great effort to fight through traffic in the defensive zone. Gets spun around and kept control of the puck by just an excellent effort. He skates it all the way into the Toronto zone. Shortly after, passes in the O zone. Lyubushkin takes a wrister from the point, and Steele gets the high tip, sending it knuckling past the glove hand of Hildeby. The Stars are doubled up in the shots at this point, 24-12, but still have a 2-0 lead to show for it. Hintz Speed draws an interference call along the boards after this, and the Toronto Maple Leafs would end up scoring a goal, not on the power play, but a little later. I think it was right after the power play was over. Scott Laughton gets to a rebound before we do in his own zone after a feckless power play of ours, and transitions quickly. It's a 2-on-1 against Harley, which you just don't want to see, especially right now. And Laughton brings it into the slot and rips a perfect shot against the grain high blocker on Otter. Just an unstoppable shot for Otter. And 11 minutes left after that goal for us to hang on, and it's only a 1-goal game. And then we would open it up. So Jamie Benn gets it. Offensive zone face-off. The Stars win it and work the puck around for a little bit. Duchesne to Lindell. Quickly to Heiskanen at the right point for a hard one-timer through traffic and a screen. And Ben shoves the D-man to create a little space for himself in bumper position and then deflects it high blocker on Hildeby. So later Ben gets away with a trip on knees in front of the Dallas net, and with the goalie pulled sometime after this, I think about 2 minutes left in the game, Bork would get the empty netter by winning a puck race headed toward the empty net against Oliver Ekman-Larsson and puts it in. He really deserved that one, so it's good to see him get on the board there. And then to rub the salt in the wounds, Ritzy would elevate a shot, putting it over the stabbing pad of Hildeby with 18 seconds left off of a Harley point shot rebound. Love to see the animated celly afterwards by Ritzkovian. I've really just been enjoying watching Ritzky do his thing. So the Stars, with the win, gain the high ground on the Wild, who lost in regulation to the Avs 5-1. There's been a lot of trash talking on TikTok from good fun from Minnesota fans, and I've got kind of a recurring bit going on TikTok, and I've uploaded it to YouTube as well about the race that we've had between the Wild. It's a fun one. So the Stars are now up 6 points on them, but the Stars have their work cut out for them playing the Red Wings on Wednesday for the next one. Enjoy your travels this week, and I will get to you on the next side of this for the pregame for the Red Wings.